Hello, everyone. What I wanted to do this time is let's do a little comparison. We talked about coming up with ideas and putting them in words to help us with doing designs for photo shoots. So as you can see here, this one's pretty simple. There's a couple of little odd bits here that I'll explain in a second, but let's zoom in here. We just have our checkpoint, our positive and negatives, the latent image. Now you'll see I have a positive and a negative. One of the things I found with the save image extended is it'll take a positive and a negative, but it will only take text. So I needed to copy and paste those into a couple of string boxes so that they would show up in my final JSON that goes along with each image. We got a sampler here that you can see I've got it set 40 steps, 6 CFG DPM adaptive, and there's the decoder. Now let's take a look at the very simple prompt I gave it. Got the normal, low quality, distorted face, extra limbs type of stuff at the bottom. But here's our actual prompt. Sitting in a chair, reading a book, is a 20-year-old blonde woman. She is wearing a white blouse, blue jeans, and sneakers. Behind her is a bookcase filled with books. So if you picture this in your mind, let's say you were going to a photo shoot and you're trying to put together that image that you want, this is what we're looking at. So you've got a chair, a bookcase behind it, right? You've got a woman wearing blue jeans, a white blouse, and sneakers. She sits in the chair and holds in front of her an open book that she looks to be reading, okay? That's what we've got in here. The rest of it's just kind of to make the picture a little bit better. And that's what we've got for step one. Now, let's take a look at what we've got for the final results. But before we do that, there will be an episode page associated with this because you can see all the different ones that I've got in here. And some of them were, well, if you see one on the page and you don't see it in the video, that's because nothing good came out of the 5 that I gave. Each one got 5 options, 960 by 768, to come up with a good image. Extra limbs got ignored. Distorted faces got ignored. It had hands coming out of stomachs. What I'll do is on the episode page, I'm going to put together some of the worst of the outputs and put them over there so you guys can judge yourself. What I did was I grabbed what I thought was the best of the ones that I had and put those together so you can see how it ties out to what the prompt was. So let's go take a look at those. So what you're going to see here are things that are in basically alphabetical order. So this is the 7 of 9 one. You got the white blouse, you got the blue jeans, bookcase behind it, came up pretty good. This was ARTIUS, Artius, I guess it is. It's not really photorealistic. It does have a depth of field to it. The hand looks okay, but it looks a little odd. The legs look odd because being taken from this angle, the legs should extend if you were taking a photograph, but it looks like she's actually sitting on books. Our next one here, this is the I Can't Believe one. It came out okay. Added a fireplace, some pictures with a really creepy face back here, but at least she came out looking okay, right? She's got a book in her lap. She's sitting in a chair. She has kind of a long thumb, but other than that, it came out pretty good. This is another Can't Believe one just to show that they can do a little bit better with the fingers. The hand kind of looks like it runs into the book, but it does have a little bit better on the hand. Notice that the blouse became blue and the pants became white. So it reversed what the prompt was. Here we got the white blouse, blue jeans. This is the chill out mix. It looks, for the most part, okay. A couple little oddities to it, but it matched pretty much the prompt. Again, blue jeans, sneakers, white top, matches the prompt, small book in her hands. The bookshelf full of books. It's a bookshelf anyway, but it's not full of books, but at least it got the bookshelf behind her. This one, okay, she's wearing a white blouse. It's a blonde. She's got blue jeans, no book, but there's a bookcase behind her, and it's, you know, this is much more close up than the other ones were. Let's see, that was dreamlike. This is also dreamlike. It looks a little washed out, like there was too much light in the photograph. If you were taking a photograph, it's okay. It kind of matches, but again, that's what dreamlike gave us. Edge of realism. There's a bookcase, there's a chair, she's in it. The outfit matches the prompt, although she's not in front of the bookcase. So that didn't come out too bad. Epic photogasm. It's one of the few ones that actually put two people in the picture. They look realistic. They're both kind of, or could be reading the same book, and there's a bookcase, and they're in a chair. This is epic realism. This is one of the few that came out that I could use, because one was kind of questionable. But she has jean shorts. She does have sneakers. She has a blue top. She's sitting on the floor, not reading. I'm not sure what this is behind her. Almost like she was wearing a cape. And that's out of epic realism. Hen mix. Hen mix can come out with some really interesting stuff. The face is usually Asian of some kind. We got a bookcase behind. I'm not sure what this is supposed to be. If it's supposed to be a shirt, because I don't see a gap here. If it's just she's wearing a shirt that's kind of frilly at the bottom, or if it's a very short dress, perhaps, that she's got on. But that was the hen mix one. Open dolly. Now, this is a new one that I just picked up. It's got kind of that soft, not quite realistic feel to it, but she is wearing the white blouse. She's blonde, and she's got the blue jeans and sneakers. This is Pandora. Now, I had several that the women were in rather odd positions, but it matches the prompt. This is Porteous. Came out looking like the prompt for the most part. The outfit matches. It's not as far back as the other one, so you don't see her as much. I did have in there that I wanted a full body photograph, which is sometimes very hard to get the UI or the AI to generate along those lines. This is realistic version 6. So you can see she has a short blue dress. The book is just kind of in her hand, and this is realistic version 6. This is the real, not real one. It matches the prompt. Again, all of these have some little piece that just bugs me a bit. For example, in this particular one, I do not like the way the book looks. This is Reliberate. It was the best I could get out of the set. There's a bookcase, a chair, the clothing matches. I don't like the pose, but that's what came out of Reliberate. SDXL. Again, it's kind of a softened, almost a cartoonish version of what I was looking for here. And West Mix. West Mix typically comes up with very photorealistic output. It matches the prompt, and that's what West Mix gave me. Again, several of these, you got to be careful what you generate and not generate them on the fly if you've got people around you, for the simple fact that sometimes they will take the clothes off. So you have to be very specific in your prompt. That's why I prompted the way I did. Now, what I did when I went through this is I also went back and then did a set with fixed, and we'll look at those next. And when I mean fixed, the prompt itself had instead of having a random number put to it, it was the same number that was used every single time. Now, you may be wondering, why would you take randomize off? The goal of sticking with a number is to come up with consistent images. So some of what you're going to see going forward here will look similar to each other and similar to things you've seen from the last section of this video, but some of them are wildly different. So this is 7 of 9. It did match the prompt. These were a little bit better at matching the prompt than the last set. Arteus, again, that kind of cartoon flavor to it. But this is one that was in the other one that I didn't include. I only included it here because Arteus really didn't do a good job with the hand. And this is an exact duplicate of what was in the first set that I had taken out. And you can see that the hands are just wrong. It doesn't match the prompt, right? She's got a lavender blouse on instead of a white one. So it just was not a good example of what we should have gotten out of that prompt. A sweater, no bookcase, and blue jean, I guess, shorts or cutoffs. And this was chill out mix. Cyber realistic, it's got the back of a chair anyway. And again, this was with a fixed number that was used to generate these. So they should have come out pretty close to each other. Now look at this particular one. This is dreamlike. There is nothing here that really matches the prompt except for her hair and the blue jeans. All the rest of the environment has nothing to do with that prompt. Here, not a chair, but she is sitting. She does have a book, or at least half of a book, in her hand, looking at the camera, and there are books on a bookshelf behind her. This was Edge of Realism. Epic Photogasm. Empty bookshelf, except for some little, I guess, electronic thing down here. Still blonde, even though it's a little on the darker side. She does have a book. I'm not sure about her hands. Sneakers and jeans. Epic Realism. She's sitting. She's got a pillow behind her. White blouse, blue jeans, sneakers. Blonde with some books behind her. And again, these are the best that I could find in the second set. Again, fixed number, not set to randomize, and then just generated 5 images. Now, this would be actually the type of photograph that I would envision from where I was thinking starting in. Blue jeans, chair, white blouse, blonde, looking at the camera, books behind her, book in her hands. This is more like what I was looking for when I started the the prompt up. Again, pretty close to the one we just saw as far as where she's looking, book in her hands, blue jeans, blouse, odd little thumb, but it does come out looking like the prompt. And again, yep, sorry, that was Pandora. The one before it was Open Dolly. All right, then Pandora. Then we're over to Proteus. Again, very similar, right? That's what you would expect from having a number and not randomizing it. Realistic 20. Likes red for this particular one. Has a family picture in the bookcase, which is an interesting touch to this one. Looks almost like a school binder more than it does a book, but it kind of matches the prompt. Real, not real. Came out okay. Not sure what this is in terms of what a book is, unless it's folding up and out. In a bookcase behind her. We move over to Reliberate. Again, we've got an empty bookcase, which I find interesting that a couple of times we ended up with an empty bookcase. And as I said in the last one, there was one image that had two women in it. There were several in this set that came out with two women in it, even though this was based off a particular picture that I liked, and I took the number from that. So I would regenerate that particular image, and that's not what I got. This is Real Vision 51. Some books sitting on the floor, a very tiny book in her hand, but it matches the prompt. SDXL, again, kind of an art cartoon feel to it. It does have a sense of depth of field to it. She's wearing blue jean shorts or a blue jean mini skirt. Not sure from this particular angle. I'm not sure about the other hand. It could just be hidden from the edge of the book. And then we end with West Mix again. Again, very photorealistic looking, but book in her hand, bookcase, no chair. She's sitting on the floor, but she does have the blonde-ish hair, white blouse, and blue jeans and sneakers. So that's how these stacked up against each other with that very simple prompt. I was looking for a 20-year-old blonde woman sitting in a chair, reading a book, behind her a bookcase full of books, wearing a white blouse, blue jeans, and sneakers. And this is what we ended up with for this. So this is what I meant when I said that you may not always get what you're looking for from the prompt. And then you can go back at the prompt and try again and try again and try to get these to match up. The reason I did this with multiple sets is you could get an idea for what you could expect for output from them with the prompt given, but also what the quality is going to look like. Now, they were all supposed to be photorealistic, yet SDXL, I like the image. Don't get me wrong. I do like the image that was produced, but it looks like it was a drawn image as opposed to more photorealistic, which just might be the way SDXL works. Just grabbed a couple of them as I was going through just to see what some new ones looked like. Like Proteus was a new one to me. Almost looks photo. Pandora again, and Open Dolly all kind of had that same softness to it. It doesn't look like a sharp photo. But that's what I got for you guys this week on these different images that were generated using Comfy UI and these different models. And again, there'll be an episode page that you can jump over to there and see what we've got. This is episode 76, and you'll be able to take a look at the prompts for these, as well as the full prompt, the model list, and then below that, I'll put some of the really bizarre images that I got that had 2 left feet or extra limbs. Even have one with a instead of it being a woman with a white blouse on, she had a bare midriff and there's a hand coming out of her stomach. Um, so I'll put those on there so you guys can see some of the weirdness that can come out from using some of these models. But again, the goal here was to come up with a prompt that you could then use to communicate to your client the type of pose, etc., that you were looking for. Now, we weren't going into the posing on this one so much. You've seen the other videos where you can actually put a open pose model in, so you can generate a person in a fixed position that you want to replicate with the image, then have the AI map an image over that particular shape, if you will, so that you're getting a person looking the way you want them to look, standing the way you want them to stand. But all we're handling here right now is just that basic concept. Maybe you talked to the client. The client really loves books, and you thought, well, wait a minute, why don't we get you doing what you love to do? We'll put you in a library type setting. You're reading a book, and you look up at the camera, and we'll take some pictures there. So taking that concept, putting that into a prompt to generate an image that you can then use as a visual representation of your vision of what you think the scene would look like. And it gives you a talking point. It gives you a place to start to say, okay, this is what I'm thinking of. What do you think? Do we want to change out the blouse? Do we want to change out the jeans? What do we want to do differently from this image? But it helps you to come up with a good layout for what you're going to do during the photo shoot. And that's the technical one for this week. And I will talk to you guys all next week.